Hawaii, a family vacation paradise. In 1972, one of America's favorite families made pop culture history by visiting Oahu. Now, for the first time since that trip, 5 Brady Bunch cast members take a Hawaiian vacation together. Can they recapture the magic? Join Florence Henderson, Susan Olsen, Barry Williams, Christopher Knight, and Mike Lookinland as the Brady is back in Hawaii. The Brady Bunch began its 4th season by filming 3 special episodes on location in Hawaii. 3 decades later, the cast members greeted each other before hitting the beach. Hawaii has changed over the years, and so have the Brady Bunch cast members. This time, they brought spouses and children of their own.
Well, seeing my Brady children with their children is pretty amazing.
They enjoyed us.
No, Scott. You're Scott. Oh, Mike Lookinland's boys, you know, they look just like he did.
We're gonna play on the beach.
Are you?
That's what we've been waiting for.
We have extended families here.
I want you to meet your grandma, Florence.
Florence, had the announcement when my son Brandon was born, and pictures, and knew, but she met him for the first time here.
He smiled at me. Yeah.
You're going to be a surfer, too.
But when I see Susan's little boy, Michael, who looks just like Susan did at that age, it's mind-blowing.
The fact that the last time we saw each other in this context, we were filming, but now that we're in Hawaii, it actually helps us kind of measure time. I mean, it was a number of years ago that we were here.
Now can we bury your head?
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Oh, thanks.
No!
I do have a straw, Mike. Don't worry about it. I can get another straw and you'll be fine.
It's almost whenever we get together, we forget how it was that our friendships were forged.
Not one to pass up a chance to sit on top of the world, Barry, with some help from the local surf shop, grabs a board and heads for the beach.
I think this is going to be a little bit more my speed here.
You like that one?
Yeah. So where are we going?
We're going to head right over to Canoes.
All right, let's head on out. All right, let's go. No, I'm in tune with the surfer.
Is that right? I see. Is that?
That's the guy.
That's the one, huh?
The guy. Now, last time I was here, it brought me a little bad luck.
Unfortunately, I had a terrible accident while we were out there.
The footage of him crashing on his surfboard because of the good luck that he was receiving from our taboo Pinky Idol. That looks so good and so real because he really planted his head.
Even though an accident had been planned, a wipeout had been planned, the one that I took and was filmed was not planned.
Okay, the way I remember that is that they got really lucky because they were using a telephoto lens, and that reef is well in front of him, and he's
stacked up,
and he's falling, 50 yards behind it, and it looks like he hits his head on the reef.
So I was surfing, and I looked up, and here's this rock in front of me, and I tried to correct for it, ended up losing my balance, and fell right into it. Fortunately, when I made contact with my feet instead of my head, which is what it looked like.
Surf's up, but this time around, Barry sticks to the small stuff. While Barry Larry works on catching the perfect wave. Florence and Susan experience the spiritual side of the island with a guided field trip to some of Oahu's sacred sites.
Well, the Mackay excursion with Susan was another highlight, and we had an incredible guide named Dominic.
What these actually were 4 kahuna.
They were healing rocks. Can I get on the rock?
If you know the chance that the stones still retain their spiritual power and that they will still heal.
And he was so proud of his culture. How did they move them here? They look
I know, I was going to ask
so
how
heavy. Yeah.
Not if the stones want to be moved.
Oh. Wow.
They're moving!
When we see each other, we're always glad to see each other. We fall into certain rhythms.
Oh, Florence, people would be very surprised with how very bawdy and sassy and young and hip and cool she is.
She's a card. She's just a fun woman.
Florence, I know a couple of her idiosyncrasies. She used to drink tab incessantly. That was something she always had on the session. And they had cases of this. The property masters would keep cases of tab around for her.
You know, the Brady kids always looked upon me as a second parent. They were incredible kids to work with.
Meanwhile, Chris and Mike throw caution to the wind. They head for Honolulu Harbor to try their hand at parasailing. Once in the air, they'll be treated to bird's-eye views of Honolulu, Waikiki Beach, and Diamond Head, an extinct volcano. Diamond Head's name stems from a case of mistaken identity. In the 1800s, British sailors off Waikiki's coast thought they saw diamonds glittering on a mountainside. In fact, what they saw were calcite crystals shimmering in the sun. But the name Diamond Head stuck. But Mike and Chris have found a treasure trove of fun dangling high in the sky.
It's hard to relax because it's so exciting. You're out there on the boat and there's a rainbow, you know, and the guy's giving you the briefing and you got the harness on. It's hard to relax.
You don't hang in this like a regular parachute harness. If you come back hanging, you're going to be in a world of pain, okay? Give us a show, Mike.
All right, this is the moment of truth. I don't give you much time to think about it. And next thing you know, you turn the boat into the wind and you're gone. You're 600 feet out. Wow, look at this. Look where I am. You're solo pilot up there with the, you know, the bird's eye view of Waikiki. Can you believe that?
Have a good flight. We'll see you in a while. Aloha!
Parasailing in paradise is an exhilarating experience. Tethered to a state-of-the-art boat, you can fly hundreds of feet high, or in Chris's case, as low as you can go.
Well, they had a little fun with me and trolling with me. They were capable of like keeping me in the water as low, as deep, as long, as sideways as, you know, as they wanted.
He's upside down, he's working his pants. Oh, man.
I didn't notice it, but my pants come off, so I, you know, make certain I adjusted them properly.
Hey, you're doing it wrong, man. Every picture I took of him, he's about neck deep in the water. I'm sorry. We're watching. We have the binoculars out. That was the best. Next.
Coming up next, Mike, Chris, and Susan take the plunge.
Oh my God.
A whole bunch of them out here.
the guys take the ultimate water ride when the Brady Bunch cast back in Hawaii continues. Exploring the undersea world is usually associated with an adventurous spirit. Not the Jacques Cousteau type? Then consider one of Oahu's most unusual attractions, a deep-sea submersible. The underwater spectacle of reefs, wrecks, and wildlife is now accessible to everyone, including Brady Bunch cast members Susan Olsen, Mike Lookenland, and Chris Knight. Atlantis Submarine Expeditions takes visitors on a journey to the bottom of the sea.
They put you in a submarine, and it actually goes somewhere. You go down 150 feet off the shelf here in the sand at Waikiki.
The submarine excursion is probably one of my favorite.
Whoa! Oh my God!
And I have an obsession with shipwrecks, and I have dreams about being on the Titanic.
Descending 100 feet below the surface, the sub features a climate-controlled cabin. Large windows provide passengers with a panorama of underwater wonders.
I think the reason that it's my favorite, it was because it was such a surprise.
Being underwater is frightening, but in a cool way, like going to see a scary movie.
We're in a submarine cruising around at 150 feet. I thought that was great, you know?
Zebra, striped eel.
Zebra moray. You might want to cover up. Eddie.
The dive site off the coast of Waikiki features colorful and exotic fish, sea turtles, and living corals.
Going down in the submarine was like, and then seeing shipwrecks and seeing, you know, these beautiful fish, and oh my gosh, that was really cool going on the submarine. I like that.
People would be surprised at how intelligent Susan is, and always was. As a small child, she really thought things through. I think she hated those curls, sweet, but you couldn't like just run up to Susan and hug her and kiss her and all of that. She, you know, she was a little standoffish.
She's so unlike Cindy Brady. She's almost like an anti-Cindy.
Susan was and is an incredible survivor and a person who can really take care of herself. Absolutely spot on aware of everything that's going on.
From the beginning, being the youngest, we're kind of paired up together, and she was so funny and so creative and so happy and so just nutty, you know. To this day she still is, but she was like that when she was 7.
Oh, most people are pretty surprised at how sick I am. I'm pretty dark and twisted. I actually don't fit in with this family at all. I belong with the Osborns or the Addams family.
Hawaii's Sea Life Park is used to its visitors getting all wet. In fact, as Barry, Chris, and Mike discovered, it's actually encouraged. Perhaps the best way to get wet is to take part in one of the park's interactive programs, such as Splash U and Dolphin Adventures.
How you doing? Hey, Mike, nice to meet you guys. Hey, we got some fun planned for you guys today here at Sea Life Park. What's up? We're gonna meet some dolphins. Lovely. Yeah, then we're gonna go diving with some sharks and stingrays and tropical fish. How's that sound? Excellent. It gets better and better, doesn't it?
Sea Life Park, that experience doesn't even compare with the first time we were there. This time, we were part of the team. We were part of the staff. We are swimming with the dolphins.
This was quite a bit more of an experience. In those days, they didn't just put anybody in with the dolphin and ride on the dolphin and swim with the dolphin.
Instead of observing them do tricks, we were providing the commands for the tricks. Ha! 3 of us sat in the water waiting for the dolphins to come by and said, you know, we're about to ride these dolphins, and this may be the only time in our entire lives that we have an opportunity to do that. So we were set to take full advantage of it.
Good job, buddy. It doesn't get better.
And the dolphins are, you know, like sort of just this mystical part of my childhood, and here I got to catch up with that.
Bye-bye. 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 All right, guys, one more adventure for you guys.
What's that?
Would you like to go swimming with sharks?
Absolutely. After that, sharks is next.
I feel like Hollywood is sort of like swimming with the
What
sharks.
part are we going to feed them from Barry?
How big are the sharks, and when were they last fed?
Nice. I'm just happy to be back in matching outfits.
Yes.
That's what I'm...
We haven't performed in matching outfits in quite a while, and I remember those days not too fondly.
Yeah, right.
Frankly, can I have a different color suit? I want yours.
Please.
Then they have the 2-3-story aquarium with the manta rays, stingrays, sea turtles, sharks, tropical fish, and all kinds of sea life.
Bye-bye.
Put a little in. Huh? Oh, yeah, baby. Okay, ready? In the tank with the helmet deal on, that was such a hoot. I grabbed onto this shark, and we're feeding the fish, and they're the damselfish or angelfish or wherever they are, trying to grab all the lettuce.
I've always been, you know, I was, as a kid, wanted to be a marine biologist. I was a huge flipper fan. Jacques Cousteau was my hero. And anything underwater, I was certified, you know, long ago.
One of the divers who goes down there with you, he said...
That was the most fun we've ever had down there as well.
So I think they gave it a little extra shot as well, you know.
Perched between the Ko'olahu Mountains and Makapu'u Beach, just 15 miles from Waikiki, Sea Life Park is open daily. Next, Chris and Mike get a bird's eye view of Oahu. And an off-road adventure for everyone when the Brady Bunch cast back in Hawaii returns. Oahu's North Shore, famous for its incredible surf, is also glider central. Christopher Knight and Mike Lookinland took a day trip from Honolulu to go aloft.
You guys are going to be going up in the air a couple thousand feet. Only thing you have to provide is breathing warm bodies. And there is going to be a pilot with you to make sure that we get you back.
I'm looking forward to that.
And we're going to go out there and get up close and personal with that airplane.
They finally allowed us all back.
Now, this thing weighs 900 pounds.
That was the three-seater glider? Three-seater?
You guys are the perfect size.
You're basically telling us we're not too much man for this plane. We got the perfect couple. Perfect couple.
Yeah. Okay, so I got in the seat, and I looked at how much seat was left. Now, I'm not a big guy.
No, but you need both legs on your side.
I looked over at what was left of the seat for big old Chris Knight to get into, and there was about this much left.
Okay, have a seat anywhere. And put this foot down the tunnel as you go down. Very good.
Okay, well, we figured it out.
I'm glad that we're such close friends.
Go ahead and we'll close the canopy and we'll get this show on the road.
The view, the weather.
There's something about being up there with that kind of quiet and that kind of freedom.
Soaring silently above Oahu, the glider rides warm columns of rising air called thermals.
I think the guy gave it a little extra, you know, a little extra maneuvering.
It's the best roller coaster ride I've ever been on.
Incredible flight! Weightless, that was incredible. That was
Felt pretty and fun until that first.
That's the best part.
most vivid memory is I laid in bed a lot, suffering from the severe sunburn that I got the first day I was here.
But I remember never remembering that he had this burn. Just reach around and grab him, and all of a sudden, I was always getting this yelp, this jump out of him, you know, and I wasn't intending it. He was my best friend.
Michael Lookenland was, in particular at that time when he was practicing all the time, a very talented musician, a good singer and pianist. And that never really got exploited. He ended up with playing the drums, I think, on one episode.
People would be surprised at how smart Mike is. Mike is a certified genius, and pretty much anything that Mike wants to do, he could do.
Mike Lookenland, sweetheart. I don't think anyone would be surprised to know that he was always the most professional little kid and took everything very seriously, was fun. He's just a special kid.
Venturing into the tropical backcountry on a road less traveled is a blast on an ATV. The Bradys don helmets, fire their engines, everyone ready for a rip-roaring ride.
Okay, here we go.
At first I was intimidated by the ATVs, and then I loved them.
I think Chris Knight is the most reckless.
I like bringing it right to the edge, not over, and I think that's precisely what happened with the ATV.
He gets on there and pushes the throttle and turns the wheel and forgets that gravity keeps going.
I want you guys to notice something. I want you to notice how often Chris is going that way and looking this way.
We got close to complete high side and disaster, but we came back from ruin.
Florence is blown away by the ATV. She keeps talking about the ATV. Oh, the ATV. I want one. I want one, you know, at home.
You want me to pop a wheelie? Ah! Bye-bye! Ah!
Next, keep your eye on the ball.
Went right where I was aiming, except the hole's over there.
And Chris and Florence share a spa experience when the Brady Bunch cast back in Hawaii returns. From cosmopolitan Honolulu's hustle and bustle to the North Shore's pounding surf and quiet lagoons, Hawaii's Oahu Island is as unique and varied as its visitors. Oahu is the native word for gathering place. And what better place for a bunch of Bradys to gather for a round of golf than Turtle Bay Resort, which features nearly 5 miles of beachfront.
It's beautiful. Unlike some cities that are named after various things, they actually have turtles in Turtle Bay.
Just 45 minutes from Honolulu, Turtle Bay Resort features horseback riding, a surf school, and 2 championship golf courses.
My family.
Where this bunch of travelers seems to be having trouble discriminating between a practice swing and actually hitting the ball.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a practice.
I don't care if you hit it.
I loved it, and the fact that I got to play golf and had a gorgeous golf instructor. Hello, Oliver. Anything you say, doll. You're so cute.
Well, there's a roller.
Nice. I don't know any of these people. Hey, Chris, do me a favor. Would you go out and collect those balls and bring them back?
Why don't we take it to the golf course?
Take it to the golf course. Men prove themselves.
Can we go bowling?
Excuse me, you follow us, would you please, Chris? Thanks.
Yeah, Chris, please. Try to stay with
Careful. Don't get too far behind.
Now let's get some rolls. Come on, Susan, you can do it.
I love it!
Let's hear it for the ladies.
Someone's having a seizure over here.
Very sorry.
was a good slice. Unfortunately, this hole hooks.
Kindly collect your tea and step away. Thank you. Okay. Time to quit fooling around. I'll keep that then.
Yeah, this is the first time I ever played golf, and as God is my witness, I hope that it's my last. Oh!
I want to try to avoid the stroke penalty.
Well, you know, Barry is an athlete, and of course, you know, has a tendency to think he's the best.
I don't know what this means, but they always do it on television. Okay.
But I proved to him that he wasn't the best.
Hey!
Alrighty!
The old pro came through. I mean, she held her own. Came out of nowhere. Smoked us.
I think that the challenge really was for camera time, so probably Barry won.
Nothing to it when you do it right.
You know why I think I won? Because I really took the instructions seriously. I really did. And I think Oliver appreciated that so much that, you know, he made me the winner.
Oh, that is so sweet.
And this is actually...
After a full day of hooking, slicing, and taking mulligans, Florence and Chris know there is little substitute for being pampered by someone else's hands. Now, if they can just get past the idea of sharing the massage tent.
She's needed. Why? Oh, I'm in there too.
Yeah, can we lower those things, or how do we do that? Well, Chris, you turn around. Chris.
Speechless.
Susan told me that she does not like massage. She said she doesn't like being touched by strangers. How about you, Chris?
I find the touch of a stranger
Far safer.
to be quite invigorating.
I couldn't imagine being in the spa with anyone other than Chris.
I didn't, expect that we'd be, getting tandem massages.
Greg.
Should be pretty easy to remember.
Greg. I had Greg. That's not Greg Brady. That was G-R-E-G-G. Greg.
Greg with 2 G's. Yeah.
Greg.
It was a different kind of massage. More comedy than massage.
Well, we were here 30 years ago. It was kind of sad because Chris was so lonely.
I wouldn't have imagined that 30 years ago that I would be still discussing the same program.
He's comfortable to be with. He's fun, and I do have a special rapport with him. Yeah.
Let's go drink it. Let's go get some more toxins. I just lost them.
Well, Chris was always adorable. When we started, Chris had some difficulties. He wasn't as quick, at reading scripts and things like that.
Chris and I were always buddy-buddy, He and I kind of ran around.
He's a dedicated, committed individual to being helpful, sometimes taken advantage of, used and abused.
People would be shocked at what a sweetheart Chris is, what a kind of aw shucks kind of guy he is, even though he's unbelievably gorgeous.
Well, that was unique.
After the break, the Bradys reunite with an old friend.
Unbelievable.
Great to see you again.
And Barry fulfills a lifelong dream.
Tiny bubble.
When the Brady Bunch cast back in Hawaii returns. His name is synonymous with Hawaii. He's to Hawaii what Wayne Newton is to Vegas. He's Don Ho. At his Island Grill restaurant, Don met up with the Bradys for the first time since his 1972 guest appearance on their sitcom.
Gracious, I don't believe my eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, we were all a
Chris?
lot smaller.
And Barry back there.
This
Don.
is unbelievable.
Great to see you again.
What are you guys doing here?
Well, we came back to take you up on your invitation, if that's okay.
We're hungry.
Yeah.
Lunch. And I hear you have surfboard-sized pizzas here.
And they're wonderful.
Are they?
I've heard. Yeah.
Sure. So,
Okay, well,
order me
shall
one.
we go in,
All right.
Barry?
Just see you in a minute.
You'll be last because he eats too much. He's
not invited.
So,
I remember him from
He has us
make sure he comes
I
last.
do remember.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Wait. Yeah. Okay.
I want to talk to Don. It's such a thrill to see you
Good luck,
again.
Don.
My favorite time with the whole show was when we filmed here, but I want to share a secret with you. There was one regret that I had, and that was when you filmed the scene with Cindy and Bobby, that I wasn't a part of it, because I wanted to be in and sing with you and be a part of that.
Well, I tell you what, come by the show and we'll get you on stage and we'll
For real?
have a few songs.
You wouldn't kid me?
No, not at all.
You, me, we
Me,
together,
you,
you, like a duet kind of thing?
Yeah, just do that.
I would love it.
Okay.
I would love that. But first, I'd like to eat lunch.
Come on.
Thanks a lot. Okay.
Now, what's unique about this experience is that we're not only together as a group, but we're here at a very special place, the most special place that we were together as Brady's. So there's a tremendous amount of nostalgia attached to that.
People will probably be shocked at just what a hard worker Barry is, how he's just constantly on the go, constantly working, perfecting things.
I hated Barry. Barry was a real, he knows this, he knows it. And he'll admit that he was, because Barry was born 40. He was always wanting to be his older brothers in real life.
Barry was like the super cool, untouchable, beyond, totally out of my realm. I look to him a lot for professional guidance, because he's like the pro among the kids who is like the entertainer guy, But our relationship was more based on work.
What about Barry? What about Barry? Well, Barry, he was a terrific young actor. He loved music so much, and he loved what I did. I was always a singer.
The one show, every night somebody always asks me when I take picture, can you do the song from the Brady Bunch? Just so happens that a young fella from the Brady Bunch is here tonight. His name is Barry, and he's standing backstage. I want to bring him out. Give him a nice hand, everybody, for Barry.
Aloha!
How you doing, Barry?
I'm doing just great, Don. Nice to be here.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Good. That was a few years ago when we
It was years ago, yes. It's been a while, but you haven't changed at all.
Well, you haven't seen me naked really recently.
Not recently.
Well, you haven't seen me naked at all.
Good point.
It's sure nice to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Sing with me.
I would be honored to sing with you.
You didn't sing with me.
I didn't get a chance to sing with you when we filmed our show. That was Bobby and Cindy.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
I tell you what, let me sing the Tiny Bubbles, and then you just repeat after me, and the audience will sing with you.
You got it.
Tiny bubbles,
tiny bubbles
in the wine, make me happy, make me feel fine, tiny bubbles, make me warm all over, well, I feel that I'm gonna love you, the end of time.
After the break, a moment to remember.
In the USS Arizona, who gave their lives in action.
And a final feast fit for a king. When the Brady Bunch cast back in Hawaii continues.
Hawaii, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4.
Hawaii is famous for its natural wonders. Lush tropical rainforests, beautiful lagoons, heart-pounding surf. But Hawaii is also steeped in history. In Pearl Harbor, the U.S. Park Service has erected a monument over the sunken USS Arizona, dedicated to the lives lost here during World War II. And as they did decades ago, the Brady Bunch cast members toured this hallowed site, where trapped oil from the Arizona still rises to the surface.
They sink everything in this Battleship Row right here.
My husband, John, he arrived here on December 6th, 1941, in the Merchant Marines, and of course, Pearl Harbor was December 7th, and wasn't long before he was in the Navy, and he was here for the whole war. And so that was incredibly moving to me, and today I think it was because of that. Let's pay tribute to all those who lost their lives for us.
Just to John and all the family.
Yes. Robert Reed, Mike Brady read this plaque, if you remember. So I would like to read it again in his memory and for all of our servicemen and women. Dedicated to the eternal memory of our gallant shipmates in the USS Arizona who gave their lives in action 7th of December, 1941. From today on, the USS Arizona will again fly our country's flag just as proudly as she did on the morning of December 7th, 1941. I am sure the Arizona's crew will know and appreciate what we are doing. That was written by Admiral A.W. Radford, USN, March 7th, 1950. May God make his face to shine upon them and grant them peace. Amen.
Thank you, Florence.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The only obvious omission was the absence of Robert. I missed him being here this week, and somehow I bet he misses being here too.
Bob taught me about personal dignity.
He remains my shining example of how grown-ups should treat children.
He was our friend, you know. He was our ally. He was on our side.
Sometimes it got a little difficult.
Can you imagine or blame Bob for being a little testy walking into this thing? I mean, he's a well-trained Broadway actor.
If it weren't for Robert Reed, our show would have gone in a much different direction, and I think he gave it a grounding and stability.
I got a call one day from him, and he said, Florence, I'm ill. I'm sorry. He said, I have to ask you if you would call all the kids.
I think I was numb. I was very numb. And in fact, wrote a long letter wherein I, expressed to him what it was that he meant to me, because I never had a chance to,
Boy, that was tough, because they all fell apart. I mean, everybody cried. They all adored him.
It's sad that Bob's not here. Bob would have been here in a second, and he would have loved it.
I think he would have enjoyed this very much, to be here this way, where we could be ourselves.
The Hawaiian Islands have changed markedly over the years. But many of the island's traditions continue to flourish, including the love of food, song, and dance. The luau, originally a feast for special occasions, quickly became Hawaii's most popular tourist experience. And just as they did in 1972, the Bradys wrap up this trip to Hawaii with a luau.
First off, I'd like to bring up Christopher Knight, Michael Lookinland, Susan Olsen, Barry Williams, and America's favorite mom, Florence Henderson. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice big round of applause for the cast of the Brady Bunch?
By coming here 30 years ago, The Bradys have inserted themselves and been embraced by the Hawaiian culture. That love, if you will, is being shown back to us even now.
Here, we now proclaim it the Brady's Back in Hawaii Day.
The mayor of Hawaii gave us a proclamation, and I think they're changing the name of Honolulu. I think it's now the Brady Bunch Honolulu.
When people ask me what are my favorite episodes of the Brady Bunch, I always say the ones we filmed in Hawaii, and I mean that. So
it's a very, very special, warm feeling. I was very moved. By the way, where is that proclamation? I'd like to take that home with me.
Again, a nice hand for the cast of the Brady Bunch.
There's something about this show, the Brady Bunch, that affects so many people, and I think it affects us too. I'm always a little amazed at the affection that people have for us.
I always wanted to be you.
Everyone wants to hug me. So I receive all this affection, and I, for one, think it's terrific.
How by 1 week on location, 3 episodes, half-hour in length, we have uniquely been inserted into Hawaiian culture. That's something to be proud of.
I think for many people, it reminds them of an innocent time in their lives when they were growing up, when they were impressionable. I think in many ways the Bradys have served as an idealistic kind of role model.
I think one of the greatest memories to me, there's going to be a lot of them, but certainly memories of all of us being together. And I've always said that these people are far more interesting than the characters that they played. I mean, these are really great people, you know, every cast member.
And I think it shows in the show, and it still shows to this day in these people, you know, myself included. I know that we're better people for having done this and having this been a part of our life.
Aloha and mahalo. Those are 2 very important words in Hawaii. And I'm filled with gratitude to everyone who made this trip so pleasant for us and enjoyable. And the kindness that we experienced here is something I will never forget.
The family that eats, sleeps, swims, wrestles, 4 wheels, goes round, road trips, races, bikes, hikes, scubas, camps, airboats, and plays together, stays together. Great Family Vacations Week continues next, only on the Travel Channel.
For more info on this show and others like it, just click on the Travel Channel at discovery.com.